Hello, welcome to Mouth Dancing with your host, Young. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm really glad you're here to listen to me talking. What do you guys think of charcuterie boards? I kind of hate them for some reason. It's like looks kind of like a cutting board, and you put it out during a party, and it's got a bunch of like smoked meats cut up on it. I don't know why, but they really piss me off. It's just like I don't know. There's something insulting about it. It's like if you're gonna throw a feast or a party or something, don't just like cut up a bunch of salami and bologna or whatever and then put it on a cutting board. Now, I guess there's cheese usually too and crackers. I mean, that stuff is pretty delicious, but why don't you actually assemble the snacks for everyone, the hors d'oeuvres? It's like you don't, if you're gonna cook a Thanksgiving meal, you don't just put out potatoes and then say, all right, everyone mash these potatoes and eat them. You mash the potatoes for the people, you season them and everything, and then you put it out on the table and they just have to put it on their plate and eat it. You don't make them do all the work, You don't say, oh, there's a raw turkey on the table, so go roast it in the oven for me. That's basically what a charcuterie board is when you get down to brass tacks. I think it's kind of slap in the face to your guests. It's like instead of putting out a charcuterie board as they walk into your house or your apartment for your little party or your get-together, why don't you just slap them across the face instead? It's pretty much the same thing if you think about it. And most people don't really like doing that. I don't like going to a party and then it's like I have to choose which cracker I want. Sometimes there's too many different kinds of crackers. It's like there's like plain ones and there's square ones and there's whole wheat and there's regular white crackers and seasoned crackers and all kinds of too many choices basically. And then there's there's also a bunch of different kinds of meats. And there's no label usually, it's just sliced up meat on a little thing. I also heard those kinds of meats have a lot of, I think they're called nitrates in them, which are not that good for you actually. So if you eat too much smoked meat, it's gonna smoke your insides too basically. It's gonna turn you into a smoked ham. Or like a really well seasoned slab of beef. And I'm not a cow. I don't want to become one by eating a bunch of smoked and seasoned meat. And then there's the cheese, which is another completely separate issue. There's so many different kinds of cheeses and it's hard to guess which is which. Sometimes they look really similar and you're like, I like this cheese that looks like this, but then this one that looks really close to it, but it's a totally different kind of cheese that's actually gross, is right next to it, and you're like, I don't know which one's which, and then you don't want to ask your host, is this Gruyere or Swiss? Because then you look like an idiot who doesn't even know the difference between cheeses. And knowing the difference between cheeses is like a sign of sophistication in the West, right? If you're someone who actually knows about food, then you know all the different cheeses that they're going to lay out for you at the party just by looking at them. You don't want to sniff them either because people might get grossed out if you put your nose right up to the cheese and sniff it. You're going to think you're a disgusting charlatan. Zero manners. I don't know. I guess if you get drunk enough at the party, it's not really a problem because you're going to be less concerned about the way things taste, and you're just going to shove food down your throat. So you gotta, I guess if the host, puts out enough alcohol for everyone, then it's okay. It's not as big of a deal. So I think basically I think they should ban charcuterie boards. They should pass some sort of ordinance. Maybe they should start at the city level, and eventually it'll make its way to like the Supreme Court. Charcuterie boards are they're just a stain on humanity, basically. Because for the points I laid out, they're lazy. You don't know what you're getting. And you have to do all the work as the guest. I also forgot one thing. They look stupid. You walk into someone's house and then on their table is a cutting board with a bunch of meat on it. It's just stupid looking. Why don't they, put out the rest of their kitchen implements too, like a rolling pin and a whisk, and their fine china and their shot glasses. Like, I didn't come here to look at your kitchen supplies, and I came here to eat food, and I don't want to put much work or thought into it. I just want it to be ready to eat when I get there. But anyone who does do charcuterie boards, I'm not trying to shame you or anything, and I hope you're not insulted by my critique of them. So, I don't know, just do as you've been doing. If you like charcuterie boards, and that's just your thing, then don't mind what I just said. I'm not going to judge you for it. Except in the ways that I mentioned previous to this. Having parties is pretty cool though, otherwise, right? You got all these people coming over, and they're, kind of awkward at first, because they don't know each other. And then they start having a few drinks, and everyone starts getting really loud and uninhibited. Maybe some people will even start dancing and start embarrassing themselves. That's one of the best things about having a party is hopefully someone will embarrass themselves. They get too drunk. Maybe they'll blurt out something really funny. Some kind of personal information they probably wouldn't usually talk about. Like, I don't know, maybe they have a dick cheese problem or something. And it's not something they really talk about normally. But they get drunk and they're like, I have a lot of dick cheese lately because I'm uncircumcised. And if I don't wash it out properly, I develop a ring of cheese, on the tip of my penis and the hood. I have to turn that hood inside out and wash it, or else I get serious smegma in there and it stinks. They get enough whiskey shots in them, maybe they'll start talking like that. Without the whiskey shots though, they're going to be all stiff and in the corner, just kind of looking around. Eyes are going to be zooming around and they're going to be all scared. You get a few drinks in your guests and they just start being complete fucking buffoons. Which is basically the point of having a party, is watching people become buffoons and then they entertain you like, I don't know, sort of like trained monkeys basically. They start dancing around and acting all goofy. At least that's what I've heard some people do. That's the reason some people have parties. I personally don't do that because I think it's kind of condescending, and I don't like to think of my party guests as entertainment. I like to think of them more as company, and I want to share my knowledge with them, my life experiences, and I want to develop friendships with them. Not look down on them, which is what some people do. You ever hear people talking about how old people with tattoos are going to look really bad? They say, I don't want to get a tattoo because when I get old, it's going to look really crappy. But does it really matter when you get old? Your skin's going to be all saggy and liver spotted and wrinkly anyway, right? Does it matter if there's an old faded tattoo there as well? I don't know, I guess some people maintain beautiful skin into older age, but if you do, then that means your tattoo's still gonna look okay, right? But most people, when they get old, they're just gonna have old person skin anyway, right? So why would you care that much if there's a tattoo there? It doesn't really seem like much of a reason to me to not get one if you want one. It just seems more like I don't know, just some sort of an excuse they made up because they don't like tattoos maybe, or they're scared to get one. I guess a facial tattoo would be kind of funny though on like a really old guy, right? Or like a neck tattoo. Some guy who was, when he was young, he was really sort of intimidating and scary looking. But then you see this like 70 or 80-year-old grandpa with some sort of gang tattoo on his forehead or on his neck, and he's just kind of hobbling around. He's really shaky and like, when I was your age, I was in a gang. I guess that wouldn't be very scary at that point. It would just be kind of funny looking. He's got like maybe teardrops under his eyes, or a spider web or something on his face, or his gang name on his neck. I guess you could get tattoos lasered off though, right? But you have to have a lot of money to do that. Probably some guy who got a face tattoo is not going to have a whole lot of money when he gets to that age. Probably not enough money to laser it off. But other than like face and neck tattoos, I don't know, let's say you got like some sort of mermaid or something on your forearm. When you're 80, you're going to have a sort of a faded, discolored mermaid tattoo on your forearm. But then the rest of your skin on your arm is going to be like old person skin, so I don't know, I don't really think it's that big of a deal. Doesn't seem like something that would deter me from getting one. But if you think tattoos are just whack, I kind of understand that. Some people just don't like them. They think they're trashy or whatever. But don't make up a stupid reason like, oh, I'm not gonna get one because it's gonna look bad when I get old. Why don't you just say you don't like tattoos because you're just more socially conservative and you don't like the way they look? Don't try to lie to us about it. Because no one's gonna care what your skin looks like when you're 80 anyways. Not like someone's gonna say, oh wow, that 80-year-old has really beautiful skin. Like, maybe they'll say that, but they're gonna be saying it in the sense that their skin is beautiful for someone who's 80 years old. They're not gonna be saying it like, oh, it looks just like a 20-year-old's skin. Well, it's actually surprisingly nice out today. I think I'm gonna try to take advantage of this weather before the rain hits this fall. Get out there and do something, and I suggest you guys do the same. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week. Bye.